Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in or welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Today, we're doing a roundup style video. So I have been sent videos from y'all over the past month about overconsumption related content or consumerism related content, and we're going to talk about a myriad of videos today. If you have never seen one of these videos from me before, I think you're in for a good time because we get to talk about different facets of consumer culture as well as consumerism when shopping becomes a problematic shopping behaviors. We get to talk about a lot of disparate things that are less thematic. Usually my videos have specific themes or messages behind them. We get to be a little bit more broad today. So we're going to get into it. I just want to jump right in. And the first video we're going to watch, it caught my attention immediately because I recognized the creator. This creator was featured in my beaded bag video. And in that video, she was showing off her beaded bag collection. So that's all the context I want to give you for now. And I want to jump into our first video.
We're doing another decluttering video, and this time it's of my beaded bags. They're starting to overfill my shelves, and honestly, I've looked at some and I'm like, you know what? I loved you when I first got it, but I still haven't worn you, and I don't think I will. So we're gonna get rid of some today. Let's start off with this top row. This one I got off of TikTok Shop, and I'm obsessed with her.
I'm sorry, I have to pause already. When she says I loved you when I first got you, but I haven't worn you, I think what she means is I loved shopping for you.
Love the colors, and I love how she literally looks like she's sparkling, so we're keeping her for sure. This one though, I am going to be decluttering. I added the charm myself, but I'm going to keep her with the bag. She is so cute, but I bought another cherry bag that I love even more, so I'm going to say bye to this one. And now for this flower one, I love that it was yellow and orange. I think it's really pretty, but this one I can say bye to as well. Next, I have this turtle bag. I don't think I'll ever get rid of this one. She is gorgeous, and she even has little turtles on the back, so that one's definitely staying. I'm also going to be keeping the strawberry one. I think she is so nice. I love how the strawberries are also on the handle, so she's staying. Then I have this wooden beaded bag, and this shape beaded bag is my absolute favorite. I love it. I think it just elevates the look, and it looks really pretty on the arm. So the same thing goes for this one. Love the stripes, love the little lemon detail. Now we're gonna move down to this little row. This one isn't a beaded bag, but I did find it with the beaded bag section, and this one I can get rid of. It is really pretty, but I just don't think I'll be reaching for this one. This beaded bag is really hard for me to decide on. I am obsessed with the design. I just wish it was more of a shoulder bag instead of this shape. And honestly, that's why I haven't used it yet, because I would have to wear this over the wrist or around my elbow. And I don't know, it's so pretty. I think I'm going to keep it for now just because, again, I really, really love the design of that. But this one, I'm gonna get rid of. I'm so sad about it. It's just the same reason. I can't fit it over my shoulder, and that's why I just don't reach for them. And now we have the lobster one. So cute. And honestly, I wasn't even searching for this bag, but when I saw it, I wanted to get it. It is really cute, but it's just not my style. So we're gonna say bye to her as well. But these three bags, I have to keep. This tomato one, I'm obsessed with. This Aperol Spritz one is just perfect. And then the sardine bag, you either love or hate it, and I'm obsessed. Now we're gonna move on to this little row. This camel one I'm keeping. I think it's perfect for the fall time. This lemon one I'm keeping. I have matching sandals, and I love the design on this. This one though, I was really excited about, but I don't think I'd ever wear it, and honestly, I don't know where I would wear it to. I know you can wear bags anytime, but I don't know. I think I'd get rid of this one. This wooden beaded bag, I love the design. I think it's everything. It's so pretty, so I'm definitely keeping. This one I'm also keeping. I haven't used her yet, and I should soon because summer's almost over. I'm so sad about it, but I really like this print. I love the little swimmer, the diver, and the sun for a lemon slice. This champagne bottle one, I got it on sale, and I was looking for it, and I really love it. I think it's so cute. I love all the little bottle designs on it, so I'm gonna keep this one. This martini bag is one of my favorites. It's probably top 2, and it's not 2. Okay, I love this bag so much, so that one's definitely staying in my closet. Now for these bags down here, I am absolutely keeping this one. It's perfect for Halloween. Next is this one. I got it at a Marshall's that was closing down, and instead of getting it full price, it was on sale for $40, but I got it for $16. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to use it, so I'm going to declutter this one too. The same thing goes for this one. When I first saw these bags on store, I thought they were really pretty, but I knew it wasn't for me. And I saw it and I got it for $16 because the store was closing, so I was like, let me just get it. And honestly, I can get rid of it. This New York Skyline one, I'm absolutely keeping. I cannot believe these little bag charms. I think they're the cutest, most adorable things ever. And that one was a pretty little penny because of the bag charms. I'm just obsessed with that Skyline. This one for sure, I'm also keeping. I'm obsessed obsessed with the beads and the sequins on this bag. I think it's so nice. This one I'm also keeping. I love all the cities on this bag. I think it's a perfect travel one. Now this is the cherry one that I was telling you guys about. I'm obsessed, and the zipper comes with a little cherry charm. I'm absolutely keeping her. Now these are the last two bags, and I knew when
We've seen enough. Where was she in my Shein video? We got 3 I'm obsessed here. This TikTok is a testament, I think, to so much of what I talk about on this channel. When you shop in emotional and excited states, when you shop as a hobby, the buy and declutter cycle in action, buying things because they're on sale, and letting a good deal distract you from what you like. Buying things because they're trendy, not because they match your personal style. I think a lot of how she shops is she gets, at least by, this is my indication based on how she's talking about things she just bought within the last few months, maybe last year. She goes to a store, she sees something, she thinks it's so cute, and then she buys it. When you buy something because you think it's so cute and that's your sole criteria for buying it, number one, you can be in a heightened emotional state, so you want to open your wallet, you think it's cuter than it might actually be. It bypasses critical thinking. This is what happens at the end of the line. You don't actually want it. You never assessed your needs. It's a trend. This is somebody who went to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, and hunted for these bags. She said I think it was a lobster bag. I wasn't even looking for it, but when I saw it, I thought it was so cute, I had to have it. But it's not my style. Case in point. She also says, don't know where I would wear it to. That can happen when we are being intentional about our clothes. We think something is going to work out, but it doesn't. So that happens sometimes. But when you are shopping in excited and emotional states, you're, hunting for things, which increases the pleasure of it all. You're following things on TikTok, you're chasing trends. That's much easier to happen. She also says, I'm reading off the screen here, I'm starting to overfill my shelf. Loved you when I first got you. Haven't worn you. Don't think I will. She overfilled her shelves shopping, chasing trends. I've said that already numerous times. And now they're full, so she's going to declutter them. What do you think is going to happen in the next year? It seems like a reasonable thing to do when your shelves are full is to declutter them. But this so often ends up in a pattern, and it's a habit, a cycle, if you will. I think a lot of her purchases are a testament to buying things in excited emotional states. And what happens once that pleasure wears off? We are faced with the reality of owning so many things, acquiring things so quickly, or once we actually are faced with the reality of what it's like to own dozens of bags, but also whatever specific bag we're talking about. We are not doing those critical thinking pieces or those imagining in our life situations at the time of purchase. So then we get them into real life and we are faced with, oh, I have too many bags. I don't wear this color. I don't like this color. Or I don't like this print, or I don't like this style, or it's not my personal style. She said at the beginning, I bought a cherry bag that I love more. When is enough enough? If we already bought a cherry bag that we like, why are we continuing to buy more? These are things that become dupes. I don't think a lot of people need multiple fruit flavored themed bags. So if you own more than one, they'll become functional or stylistic dupes for each other, where one is going to be the preference, which is exactly what happened here. When is enough enough? When do we stop shopping? If you, let's say, wanted a strawberry beaded bag or a cherry beaded bag, it would make sense to me to take a look at what's out there, see your options, and then buy the one that you like the most. But when you're somebody who enjoys shopping and it's a bit of a hobby or a pleasure, as we've talked about, you may not see the problem of owning multiple cherry bags because you perhaps convince yourself that you love them so much, or you enjoy the experience of shopping for these things so much, it wasn't a problem at the time. This kind of shopping and decluttering content feeds the buy and declutter cycle. It reinforces and normalizes treating your items as disposable, and it is perfectly normal, okay, and acceptable to bring something in for a very short amount of time and then declutter it, or in her case, I think because she has a following, she's going to sell some of these items, which honestly would probably be the best case scenario here, is that they get handed off directly to another person, which if that is happening, I am delighted about that. But it still fosters this idea, perpetuates this idea that your clothes are disposable, that it's perfectly normal to own things for a short amount of time. Next up, I want to talk about a screenshot that a subscriber sent me on Instagram. Well, not a screenshot, it's a photo of something they saw out in the wild. This is from Darcy, and Darcy sent us a photo of gift cards. So there's two different gift cards, and one says retail therapy, and the other says treat yourself. If you're just listening to this video, on each of the gift cards, they're like a group of stores that you can shop at. There's some overlapping ones like Macy's and I think the Cheesecake Factory. The retail therapy one is other stores like Gap on it. And then the treat yourself it does have some stores to shop at, but more food like Outback Steakhouse. I talk about the very problematic nature of retail therapy on this channel pretty regularly. We'll talk about it once again in just a minute. There is something extra gross though for companies, like actual tangible bona fide companies, to use that in marketing copy. I actually saw it at Dynamite a little while ago, and then I also saw it at, somebody sent me a different screenshot last year of their dollar store, something that was using like retail therapy kind of in that like physical, like in the store, in signage. And we see it online in TikTok environments, that's one thing, but to also see it offline is another thing. I want to talk about another TikTok because they're related, and I think you'll see where I'm going with these things. And then we can talk about retail therapy and the like together after watching this TikTok. So in this TikTok, we have a woman who is looking over racks of clothes. She appears to be at an outdoor thrift market, and on the screen it says a number of problems. It starts at 99, and as she goes through the racks, as she peruses, the problems decrease. And the caption of this says, "Thrifting solves all my problems." I think you can get where I see the connections with these two. They're both forms, or they're both talking about retail therapy. Where one does their retail therapy doesn't matter so much as it being done. The location matters in the context of perhaps you are indulging desires that are like a trigger for you, or that you're spending more or less money, and the affordability of what you're buying would matter in the context of where it's happening, which does matter. But I think it's the habit of the retail therapy that matters most here. It matters in this context as well because sometimes people can feel validated in their shopping because of where they're doing it. They feel better at the thrift store or consignment stores or secondhand marketplaces, and they feel okay doing it because it's secondhand and it's not really a problem. Great that you're not buying new things, like resources are not like expended or used to create the things that you're buying, and you're buying things that already exist. That's great, but the habit is still the same, or you're impacting yourself the same. There's music on top of this video, and this music is typically used to indicate something wholesome, usually emotional, but something positive. People use this music when they're trying to portray something as good or beneficial. And so I think this affects the tone of the reception or the tone of the video. Like, this is something good that I'm doing. I get asked to cover overconsumption and thrifting quite a bit, and this is overall a topic I have left alone and have deliberately decided to leave alone. Because as I was just saying, there can be problematic shopping habits at a myriad of places, and it's not just one thing is all problems, or all good. No, I I don't want to criticize everything. I just want to leave some things. I just want some things to just be, at least for now anyway. So, very quickly, why is retail therapy a problem? Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. At best, retail therapy distracts you from your problems. You do not get the emotional resolve or addressing the emotional components. You are distracting yourself. And sometimes people can feel like it is helping because they feel better after the therapy of or the retail variety. I mean, sorry. I just had therapy this week, so it's on my mind. People feel better once they're shopping. And the reason why they might feel improved is if it's a coping mechanism and it's a trained response, but also if they're experiencing pleasure while shopping, that can feel like something good is being done, but it's not because you're still not resolving or addressing the emotions or the stress. And if it is a coping mechanism, which retail therapy tends to be, it's a way to cope with difficult things, or it's a stress response and a way to help you deal with stress, but it's not actually resolving the stuff. Once you're done your shopping, all of that situation is still there and it's unresolved. It may also encourage overspending if you are in a heightened emotional state. As somebody who did this, I can attest to the destructive nature of this. And it took me quite a long time, years, multiple, to deal with this. We're gonna move on, and I'm now gonna show you what might be the wildest video I've ever shown on this channel. I sometimes feel like, oh, I can't get surprised anymore. No, I can. Gird your loins. I don't know if you're girding over there. Have you girded adequately for this?
Alright, here we go. These box sets, black, and here's the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Then we're coming up on the purple. And then the pink.
It just keeps going. This hurts.
And there's my cousin who did all the work. And we have the whites, rainbows, and off-whites, and the browns. And that's it.
This is 4,200 squishmallows, and this is from, she just posted this in this July, but according to the creator, this is from last July. The creator has said that she, to that point, had spent $30,000 on squishmallows. And since last July, she has doubled her collection. She now has over 8,500 squishmallows. So in July, mid-July, she had 7,700, and mid-September, she had 8,500. So in 2 months, she gained almost 1,000 squishmallows. To get 4,000 squishmallows in a year, because last July she had 42, and then this July she had 77. So to get about 4,000 in a year, you need to be buying 10 or 11 a day. It's 10 or 11 squishmallows a day, about 300 a month. In her comments, people are saying that this is so much. What are you going to do with it all? And she says that she plans or she intends to pass her squishmallows down to other people. To me, that's a rationalization that people use in order to justify what is very much overconsumption. It's unreasonable, in my opinion, to expect your children or your family to care about your stuff as greatly as you do. And we're not talking about a collection of 10 or 100. We're talking about a collection of what is currently sitting at 8,500 that she absolutely intends to keep growing. There is so much maintenance and care that's involved with owning these amount of things They are a huge component of her life and very much take over a huge portion of her home. The collection is so big, even if broken up, is going to do the same for whoever owns it next, and they may see that as a burden and not something that is positive. Even a fraction of that, like 1,000, could be a burden to somebody. Rationalizations like this can accompany overconsumption because it can help somebody mask some of the uncomfortability of their behavior or the unsustainability of their behavior. The pace in which she collects is the most concerning part of all of this. That's because you cannot collect with intention at that pace. I don't think you can be thoughtful and intentional about what you're bringing in if you're bringing in 4,000 squishmallows a year, if you're bringing in 300 a month. It doesn't seem to be about intentionality or finding the things that she cares about. It truly just seems to be about volume over anything. And collecting can be a way to disguise problematic shopping behavior. Not every collection is that, but it can be. Collecting usually has some kind of meaning behind it, like appreciating craftsmanship. Completing a set, as problematic as I might think that be, that I can still see it as a reason. Getting something rare, or maybe something has a memory behind it. This goes beyond any of that. It's a scale that's so great that pushes beyond what I think is reasonable to appreciate, even to display. How do you adequately display 10,000 plushies? This is her goal of 10,000. How do you display 10,000? That's like a museum. Is this really collecting, or is this using the term collecting to disguise problematic shopping behavior, or a socially acceptable word to disguise what is overconsumption? There must be impulse buying at this speed, and I think that there's got to be specific habits ingrained in this or impacting this, because she must be buying multiple a day or multiple a week, and you can build habits of that or have expectations or routines of looking for plushies in the morning or after work or getting a delivery every day. And also, when is enough here? 9,000? 10,000? 20,000? I personally don't think this kind of collecting should be aspirational. We're now going to move on to our next TikTok, and this one is pet related. This video has over 25 million views on TikTok, and I've had this sent to me a few times. I kind of expected this person to own many cats with the quantity of stuff and accoutrements, all the plates, the bowls, and all the food. There's just 2 cats. This is an intense amount of stuff to have for pets. I do understand owning the food, like a larger quantity of food than your pet might need in a month or 2 months, because you might get a box or a deal or something, like maybe there's a Black Friday deal on pet food or something. I get that, but even then there is so much stuff here and little gadgets like the opening up the can device. I can see that as being useful potentially if you have arthritis in your hands, fingers, wrists, finger dexterity issues, things like that, that could be useful. But in this context, I think it's more of like, look at all the other cute things that I have, or like, look at all of the cute things I have. Look at all of these dishes. What kind of dish do I want to feed my cat with today? Maybe I'll use a heart dish. Maybe I'll use this dish. What has happened here is that she's aestheticized feeding her cats. This is a bit slippery because if you're a pet owner, if you're a cat owner, you look at this and you can feel like she cares so much about her cats because of all of the steps that she puts into feeding her cat. And you can go, oh, all I do is open my can of cat food or shake out my Purina into a bowl. I don't know, whatever cat food you're using. Maybe I need all these steps too. This is one way, or just another way, I should say, that we can equate stuff with love, right? Like she's putting in so much time and effort and she's buying all of these things. She has all of these steps. She must really love her pets. She probably does love her pets. Like a lot of pet owners love their pets. But these extra steps and these bowls and these whatever, all of these accoutrements are there to sell you more things. And there's evidence of this because she mentions it in the comments. She is selling raw food and bone broth in this specific video. If anything, these are nice to haves for your pets, but they are not must haves for your pet. Because if your cat required bone broth to live, we would have a lot of dead cats. The problem is that consumer culture turns care into consumption. By piling on these products and having all of these extras, it helps to create the illusion that more stuff equals more love. And once that framing takes hold, it becomes very difficult to question, even to critique. It's the kind of rhetoric that gets into like buying your kids gifts or presents. What a great mom you are. This is similar but different. What a great pet owner you are. What a great cat owner you are. You must love your cat. And if you criticize this, it seems like you're criticizing somebody taking care of their pet. That's like, it's just a rhetorical trap. It keeps people from asking, do I need this? Does my cat need this? Or am I being sold a lifestyle disguised as love? And of course, on top of all of this, she has an Amazon storefront selling you stuff too. So it's probably the stuff with love, making people money kind of thing. All right, on to the next one. In this one, I'm going to do some de-influencing. Oh shit, I'm about to sneeze. False alarm. Mini fridge in the bedroom is going to be a luxury for most people and not a necessity for a lot of people. If you're somebody who looks at this and goes, wow, I think that's a great idea, I encourage you to ask yourself, have you ever found yourself in your bedroom and being like, you know what I really could use is a mini fridge here. There are use cases for the mini fridge in the bedroom. People talk about these being good for medication, specifically as well for people who struggle with their mental health and depression, that they don't get up to cook or to make food. And so having healthier or just close by food, meal, snacks, that's beneficial. Or if you're struggling with an illness of some kind, there may be some things that you would benefit from having more convenient access to close by. All I ask is for you to think about whether this is going to be useful for your life, your lifestyle, and your habits. For some people, this could be excellent. For other people, this is going to be a little piece of novelty that you declutter after 4 months. Now, to the specific items she put in her fridge, crackers become soggy in the fridge depending on what you put it with. So, pre-portioning your crackers into the fridge may not be the best play. Also, pre-cutting your fruit also makes them go off faster. And you have whole strawberries, why not just put the strawberries in the fridge? That's, I think, probably the better play if we're going to go this route. She also uses a mini scoop for her hummus because, she can sell you the scoop. Hummus as a texture is too soft to hold a scoop. So this is novelty purposes only. You can use a spoon. You'll be fine. Have you ever craved ginger energy shots in your fridge? Those are typically really expensive at the grocery store. Sometimes I go by at the grocery store just out of curiosity and I saw them the other day. It was like a 4-pack or something for like $12 and I was like, no thanks. She also has the on-the-go type snacks where she's packing them like she's on the go, and she bought the cheese and the nuts and the fruit kind of thing. As mentioned, some of these on-the-go snacks may be genuinely supportive in some cases and may make sense. However, for other people, this might be more of an attempt to convince you that you need more convenient access to things that you don't actually need more convenient access to. The fridge itself creates the sense or the necessity of convenience. It starts creating needs and desires that you never had before the fridge. If you don't have a fridge and you are able-bodied, you walk down to your fridge and you get whatever you want from your fridge or your pantry, whatever the case is. Once you introduce the fridge to your bedroom, you then also introduce new types of consumption, new things to buy, and new needs. In this case, the convenient snack. You may say, well, Shauna, it's just a fridge, it's just some snacks. But the product created conditions for specific kinds of consumption, or specific conditions that justify specific kinds of consumption or just more consumption, and manufactures needs and desires. Buying an espresso or Keurig can make you feel like you need different kinds of pods, a variety of flavors, different kinds of holders, syrups, etc., etc. There's a lot of different ways that this plays out in reality or in our life. This is just one such example of this habit or this manufactured need or desire. It's just one instance of it. We're now going to move on to our last video for today, and this one is about a Barbie Jello cake. Let's watch. This creator makes Jello cake recipes, and they are freaking art. She is a master of her craft. This is amazing. I think it's wild just how creative people can be, and also just the different ways that people's creativity can go, right? Some people, they want to paint and they want to knit, some people dance, some people write, some people make videos, some people make cakes and Jello cakes specifically. It's pretty cool, I think. I think this is very satisfying to watch. Watch this come together, watch her build a cake, but also the Jello and its kind of bouncy texture is very satisfying visually. And this as a content category is not inherently problematic. And I think that there's definitely good ways, beneficial ways, positive ways to watch this content and other content like it. But when people join TikTok, It's quite often the case where something that starts off as an art becomes monetized. And the platform very regularly turns creativity into a storefront or an outlet of some kind or hobby into something that morphs into something sellable. And this content is trying to sell you things, not so much in the jello itself, but all of the accoutrements. And when you watch her videos, you do see some repeated things like that metal tray at the bottom, like the first tray that she makes, but she is circulating so many containers and some of which aren't totally necessary. Like she uses a heart bowl to cover the top of the tray when she pours in some clear jello, which is not necessary. You could use almost anything. You don't need a heart bowl. And she sells you all of the accoutrements and she has an Amazon storefront. This kind of reminds me of the ice restocks, the people who make the ice recipes, and you get to see them making the recipes. And then sometimes in different videos, you see them taking out the recipes and they make their money selling you all of the scoops and the ice molds. And she had many scoops here too. And when you watch enough of her videos, you see the rotating molds and things like that. It might not seem like a lot, but when you count up all of the containers and all of her droppers and ice molds and bowls and scoops, it adds up. This is intentional in this video to have all of the things, all of the extras, and then changing them out regularly and doing seasonal themes with seasonal products is intentional to sell you things. Videos like this make the suggestion that you could make cool cakes like this too. But the actual labor of this is quite intensive that you may not think of from the outset if you're so wrapped up in thinking this is cool or wanting to replicate it. She has to wait for layers to set. She also makes batches of things and custom jello. I was reading some of her comments that she'll make her own jello to get specific colors. The sheer commitment of what's happening here makes what's happening here unrealistic for most people to emulate. The illusion is that all you really need is the mold and you could have cool cakes. But in reality, you need time and commitment and creativity, a level of labor and interest or passion in order to use this or use these items regularly, if at all. In the creator's case, there probably is passion and interest, but also money motivates too. Before you go and click add to cart, I ask you, is this a current fixation that you're obsessed with and you've just watched a lot of this content? Maybe you got wrapped up in it because you thought it was cool or like the ASMR of it. You're just fascinated by it. And then over time watching this content so much, you got interested and now it's a micro fixation and now you want to create cakes because it's a micro fixation. Do you have a track record of micro fixations and moving on every 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks? In 2 weeks, are you even going to be interested in this kind of content? So much of the time we can get into the habit of showing our appreciation for our interests by buying stuff for the interest, and we can't just let it be. Not everything that we have an interest in has to result in a purchase. We can watch cool cake content and appreciate that cake content without it resulting in buying all of the things and want to become a Jello cake maker ourselves. If this influences you to pull out Jello that you have or just make Jello, even buy Jello from the store, probably not a problem. This can be like hobby hopping, although a little bit different, because we're buying something when we are in our heightened state of interest. And shopping for said item while we're in our heightened place or our heightened interest, the peak of our excitement, can translate to the shopping also being exciting. As I was mentioning, it's 100% possible to watch this kind of content without it being a problem, and her content isn't entirely a problem. What this is an example of is a niche TikTok interest that you may not have encountered before and is interesting and compelling to you. And because it's new and novel and we may have particular habits of shopping. We want to go and buy the things that correspond to our interest, but also because of interest that people have become monetizable. And content evolves over time to sell you more things. I get where this logic comes from. I'm making this content anyway. Maybe she gets a lot of questions about, oh, how could I do this at home? What X do you use? And so then that becomes, okay, well, if people are going to ask, or it's an expectation online for the people that we watch to have storefronts, so I could just go look and emulate ourselves. So she sets up the storefront, and a lot of her problems are solved. People aren't asking her as many questions, or she can direct people to the storefront herself. And then over time, perhaps it becomes, what new things can I sell people? I'm not actually saying this is what she's thinking specifically, but I'm saying this is how some of this content evolves over time. So that's everything for me today. Thank you so much for watching and being here. If you have a video you'd like to feature in one of these, you slide into my DMs on Instagram. That's the best way to send them to me. Thank you to everybody who sent me something for this video. I really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again around here soon for a new video. Bye.